Hello, welcome to English Everest IELTS Task 1 Writing Lessons. These lessons are focusing on Task 1 and they are going to be in a series of steps to achieve a final objective. So let us begin. Our first lesson is going to be about paraphrasing the title of the essay. So as you can see on our first page, we have a bar chart and a table. These are two of the things that you could possibly be asked to write about. So it doesn't really matter about paraphrasing because you just have to take the information regardless of what kind of data you have or you're given, should I say. Okay. When you commence writing your task 1 essay, the first thing you will have to do is paraphrase the title. That is actually when you begin writing, this is not part of the planning, this is when you actually begin writing. You can do it as part of the planning if you like, but the first thing you will do is paraphrase the title. So, for those of you who do not know what paraphrasing is, it means using different words and expressions to give the same meaning as the title. Now I have my way of doing it, or one of the ways that I recommend, and they come in 4 steps. So the first step is read the title and look at words that you cannot change because you will need to use these. So don't waste time. If you can't change a word, keep it. Then go over to the words you can change. Make a list of them, note them down because that's what you're going to focus on. Step 3, try to break the title down into chunks. For those of you who are not so high or your English level is not so high, this is probably a better way to just break it down into chunks and paraphrase each chunk, but I'm going to give you an example of that in the video. And then use different methods to paraphrase. We're going to look at some of those also. So we're going to use a sample bar chart about education to walk you through the process. Here is our chart. It's a bar chart about male and female, part-time and full-time student numbers across 3 different years, 1970, 80 and 90, for both male and female. Here is our title. So, doesn't matter what this is because this is not the focus. All we're doing is looking at the title and we've got to change it. So, step 1, words we can't change. Generally, numbers, dates and names cannot be changed. Most other things can be changed. So the words I've chosen here are the chart, because it's a chart. Britain. The asterisk means, yes, it can be possibly changed, but if you can't think of anything, don't waste your time. Education could be changed, but it's one of those words quite difficult to change. So again, if you don't, leave it. Full-time, part-time. Again, we could change those, but it's very difficult. This task is only going to take you a few minutes, literally 1 or 2 minutes, so you don't have the luxury of sitting and thinking of new words. Okay, in blue now we have step 2, the words that we can change. So, shows the number of men, could be men and women, further, 3 periods, whether they were studying. So all those expressions are in the existing title. Again, another note here is do not focus on prepositions in, on, of, etc. Use them and work them into your expression. If you need to change them, then just change them appropriately. So, also, as you saw in the example, create expressions. Do not do each word individually. So, break it down into chunks of words. Sometimes an individual word, sometimes a group of words forming an expression. Methods of paraphrasing is next. Word formation. Changing the form of the word. Example, sad, adjective, sadness, noun. Same word, different form. Word reversal. Changing the order of the words. Men and women in education. Education of women and men. Same words, juggled around. Passive active. The chart shows this information. This information is shown in the chart. Change the tenses. They were studying. We could say they studied. Same meaning. We're changing from past continuous to past simple. Synonyms, of course. Different words with the same meaning. We can change men to males. And of course, which is the exercise we're doing, paraphrasing. Paraphrasing takes groups of words rather than one word. One word, we call it synonym, a synonym. If it's a group of words, we call it paraphrasing. So, the number of, for example, could be replaced with the figures for. So, now we have different methods to use for paraphrasing. We're going to break the title down into chunks and paraphrase each one. So what I've done here is I've color coded each chunk. So we have green. The chart below shows the number of men and women in further education in Britain in 3 periods, and whether they were studying full-time or part-time. Okay, so let's go through it. The chart below, we can change the verb, which we should. Provides, gives, displays, information about. So we could say that instead of the number of. But the main thing here is changing the verb. And then we have the number of, can be the amount of, the figures for, the data for. We're changing the expression, paraphrasing. Men and women can become males and females, male and female students, because it's university. So the people in university will be students. We can also say both genders. We can say students of both genders. So we're changing the word form, changing the nouns. In further education, we're not changing education, but we're going to change the adjective here. Higher education or tertiary education, changing the adjective. In Britain, we could say in Great Britain, because Britain is Great Britain, possibly the UK, but I'm not sure about that because the UK is actually different from Great Britain, so I'm not sure whether this would be acceptable. But Great Britain, certainly. Change the noun. In 3 periods, over 3 different years, in 3 time spans, changing the expression. And whether. Whether can often be changed to if. Change the conjunction. They were studying. They studied. Or we can even say they were full-time or part-time students. We can actually incorporate this into the last part. So whether they were full-time or part-time students, because the title actually says whether they were studying here, whether they were studying full or part-time. We've changed it to whether they were full or part-time students. So, as you can see, there's a variety of ways that you can change the title. This is a very good way for those of you, as I said before, who are not as highly skilled. This is my suggestion. So we have our result. Joining all of the chunks together means we get a paraphrase version of the title. The meaning must stay the same. So I've given you 3 different versions. The chart below displays information about the amount of male and female students in tertiary education in Great Britain over 3 different years, and if they studied part-time or full-time. The chart below provides data regarding the number of both genders in higher education in the UK over 3 one-year periods, and if they were full or part-time students. The chart below gives figures for males and females in higher education in Britain over 3 time spans, and states whether they were studying full or part-time. So we've got 3 completely different versions just by breaking it up and using the techniques that I've demonstrated. So the final results are 3 paraphrase titles using a mixture of vocabulary, word formation, changed expressions and changed tenses. In the exam, you only have 5 minutes to plan your essay, so do not waste too much time on the title. If you cannot think of a way to change something, go on to the next word. Spend between 1 or 2 minutes on this, as it's essential, and it's also essential to practice this to increase your speed and efficiency. Practice the technique, do it again and again until you know what you're doing, and then it will become second nature in a very short time, but it's down to you to practice it. Okay, for scoring in the exam, it's better to try and change as much as you can, but if you can't, don't worry too much about it. As long as you paraphrase enough words, it will be good enough to get you a decent score. Okay, again, keep words you find too difficult to change and use the methods you know. I've demonstrated the methods, so go through the video again, watch it, take notes, practice. Alternatively, you can practice this method using different titles until you feel comfortable. Only attempt what you know you can do. Do not try anything new in the exam. So again, reiteration, follow the steps that are in this video, see how you get on. There are plenty of task 1 material on the internet. If you would like some material, you can subscribe to these videos, and you can also visit our website or drop us an email if you would like some material to practice with. We are more than happy to give it to you. Okay, well, that's the end of this video. Please subscribe for more, and thank you for your time.